I think it's the most ridiculous thing I've seen. I mean, it's embarrassing. You know, I respect his apology to the city. He also owes an apology to the New Jersey Nets and others that he has dragged along in this entire process, because he has made it clear that where he wants to go. Nobody was making it up. Rick Buchanan didn't make it up. Chris Broussard didn't make it up. I didn't make it up. All these reporters throughout the country covering the NBA didn't make it up. This is something that he wanted. My issue is not his desire per se to stay in Orlando. It's that you're giving away your leverage, your power. If you opt in, okay, then you're not in a position to get the 5-year max deal that you would get if you opted out. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. You're basically gift wrapping yourself to the Orlando Magic organization and say, do with me what you will, because I feel so guilty, because I've dragged the fans through all of this, blah, blah, blah. It's a completely emotional decision, devoid of the kind of business sense that he proclaimed that he was addressing this matter with. And it just really makes no sense. He's stripping himself of power. And on top of it all, he wasn't happy in Orlando last year. He wasn't happy in Orlando during this offseason. He wasn't happy with Orlando throughout this season. He was looking to move on.
How do you know that?
Because he said so. He had been telling everybody this. He had been saying all of these things. So if you're saying all of these things to everybody and their mama, okay, the reality is that somewhere along the line somebody is going to believe you. Now, having said everything that I just said, he hasn't signed on the dotted line to opt in. And until he does that, I'm not believing anything, because the dude has changed his mind about 5 times in the last 24 hours.
55 times.
There we go. In the last 24 hours. And I would say until he signs on the dotted line, I'm not believing a word that he says. And if I'm the Orlando Magic, I wouldn't believe it either, because I've been on the record saying it, and I'll say it again. If Dwight Howard, unless he signs that paper, you cannot sit there and hold on to him with the hopes of he'll re-sign with you come July 1st or whatever. If he doesn't opt in, you trade his butt today by 3 o'clock, because he's that fickle. You cannot trade. He's not a bad guy. Please don't get me wrong. Dwight Howard is not a bad guy, but he is fickle and clearly immature and in over his head with this whole process.
Well, isn't fickle and immature, don't those add up to bad guys?
No, that doesn't. No, that doesn't. There's plenty of good guys. There's plenty of good guys. There are plenty of good guys that are fickle and a bit immature, and that clearly is the case with Dwight Howard in this process.
Bottom line, gut feeling, what happens at 3 o'clock?
I still say that he's probably going to be gone.
So now it's all about your pride is on the line.
No.
So you're mad at Dwight for
Not at
making
all.
you look bad.
I swear to you.
No?
No. Because let me tell you why. You know why? Because Dwight Howard did not make me look bad. I don't believe in that. If you have told people this is what you want to do, okay, that would be different. Now, if you're sitting there and you're telling me something on a clandestine level, it's all secretive and all of this other stuff, and I'm putting my name out there, that would be different. You're absolutely right. I'd be ticked off, and I'm coming for you. Because if you're lying, lead me in a different direction. I never forget it, and I'm coming for you. But that's not what he's ever done to me or anybody else. Dwight Howard is the kind of guy where he has been out front and center. He apologized to the fans of Orlando. Everybody notices on him. He doesn't make me look bad or any other analyst. He's showing how fickle he is. That's his business. I'm just saying what I'm appalled by is that in this modern day age, where you know how you see these modern day athletes and they talk about control and they talk about how sports high price slavery and throwing out all of this nonsensical rhetoric and all of this other stuff. Here you are in a position where the power's in your hands. You have it. Okay, you can opt out. You can re-sign with Orlando. You can move on or whatever. And you surrender that out of guilt? Guilt for what? It makes no sense whatsoever. It's just childish.
You just don't get it, do you?
Please educate me.
Well, what have I been trying to tell you for the last 6 months? Not 6 weeks, but for 6 months.
6 months, go ahead.
Dwight Howard wants to stay home. He wants to stay in his comfort zone. But he wants badly to be wanted by everybody. From Brooklyn to L.A. to Orlando. He wanted badly to be wooed, to be loved, to be sought, to be the next LeBron. He wanted to do what LeBron did, but he never had the guts or the instinct to leave Orlando the way LeBron knew he was going to leave Cleveland. He wanted Dwight Howard for Stephen A. to call him every 5 minutes and say, "What's up? What are you doing now?" and to say, well, I don't know.
I can assure you, I didn't call him 5 minutes.
Well,
I don't call anybody 5 minutes. But go ahead.
Every hour, maybe, on the hour. And yet, in the end, Dwight Howard loves that comfort zone in Orlando. I've said it from the start. He's not equipped to do what the other superstars do. He's not. He wants to give the appearance. He wants you to think that he's playing the field, that he might join forces with Darren Williams or originally with Kobe in L.A. But I don't think he ever had any notion of actually pulling the trigger on that, actually doing it, because he didn't want the pressure and expectation that will come with that. Because if you make that move, then all the focus, all the spotlight in New York City or Los Angeles, wherever it was going to be on Dwight Howard to have to live up and perform up to that level. And he never wanted it. He wants to stay put, where he can always say, well, they got to help me here. I need more help.
I will say this to you. In all the years I've known you, if Dwight Howard ends up signing this opt-in and staying there, you will have never been more right in your career.
Well, now, there was Tim Tebow. How about that one? No. You want to talk about all-time right?
No. You're talking. Wait a minute. With Tebow, you're talking about game. I'm talking about sitting here with putting on your Dr. Phil hat and being a psychoanalysis.
That's exactly
psychoanalysis. I'm telling you right now, if he sits there, and it's going to make him sick because he doesn't like what you say about him. But let me tell you something right now. If this dude ends up signing on that dotted line and electing to opt in, everything that you have been saying for 6 months about this kid is going to be right on the money, and I nor anybody else is going to be in any position to refute you, because I can't believe that we are sitting here. I am stunned, because again, it's not even about staying in Orlando or I'm leaving. It's about you giving up the power.
Hey, but wait a second.
That's what's blowing me away.
Go ahead, but ultimately, he can make max money in Orlando. He can make way more in Orlando than he's going to make with the Brooklyn Nets.
But walk us through this, because we were talking about this off camera. If he would have waited until July,
right? Here's the deal.
Had a 5-year.
If you leave, if you opt out and leave for another team, they can only offer you a 4-year deal. It'll cost you about $30 million, even though he's got a contract with the shoe company that'll make up for that $30 million. If you had opted out and then re-signed with Orlando, that's the most money you can get, staying with your own team, plus that additional year, plus the raises that they implemented to it, you get more money. The point that I'm trying to make to you, by electing to opt in, what he's done is it basically stipulates that as of today, if he opted in today, he could get a 2-year deal. As of July 1st, he could get a 3-year deal on top of that. He would still be costing himself money, even if he stayed in Orlando, by opting in. So what I'm trying to say to you is, I have never seen a professional athlete in my life so flagrantly cost himself money in this regard.
Bad business decision.
Based on guilt. Based on guilt alone, because remember, even if you're staying in Orlando, what's wrong with you opting out and then re-upping? You can't do that, because Orlando has put you on notice that unless you commit to them, they are going to trade you today. So basically, Orlando has pulled, they're flexing their muscles, whatever muscle they think they have. And he basically is reportedly, he's caving to that. I haven't seen that. They have stripped him of his power. It's unbelievable.
He mentioned in here, they're getting to my family, or not they're getting, but it's been a lot of pressure on me, my family.
I told y'all they were working Mama Howard and all of them. I told y'all that.
Well, who wouldn't? What's wrong with that?
I didn't say that. I didn't say anything was wrong with it. I applaud them for doing it. I'm just amazed it's working.
I know, but
that's what I'm saying.
He could opt all in. He could say, I'm here for the duration, and he could get the max deal from Orlando right now.
What I'm saying to you, no. If he opts in now, he could sign for time. Just been speaking to Andrew Brand. He can opt in for 2 years. Then he can re-up for 3, or he could re-up for 3 years as of July 1st.
Right.
But if he were an unrestricted free agent with the intent to re-sign with Orlando, he could get fired. Like Darren Williams is going to opt out. He's opting out at the end of the season.
Yeah.
July 1st, he's going to get a max deal from the New Jersey Nets if he so chooses. Dwight Howard won't be in a position to do that if he opts in today.
Okay. Well, whatever. take, Orlando will take care of him. They'll get him the most money in a state with no income tax.
But that was never an issue for him. Right. The issue for him is that he was saying he didn't want to be there, and he wanted to win. And look what's happening. He's got Skip Bayless looking like Mr. Cleo. It's unbelievable.
Look, no wonder you were so quiet over here, because you were right.
Unbelievable.
It's hard being perfect.
It ain't right yet, but it looks that way.
Let's move on now to Peyton Manning.